European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen says Europe is a great gift at the final CDU-CSU rally ahead of the EU elections.
As the Russian invasion continues to devastate border areas, a Ukrainian counterattack killed 26 people and wounded dozens more.
Germany's centre-right Christian Democratic Union and Christian Social Union have held their final election campaign event in the southern state of Bavaria. It was attended by European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, who is a CDU member. She told the audience that today's Europe is a great gift, but warned that the bloc is being challenged like never before by populists, extremists and demagogues.
Wir sind geschlossen aufgetreten. Wir haben gemeinsam gekämpft. Unsere Themen sind die richtigen: Wohlstand, Sicherheit, Demokratie. Das ist super Teamarbeit. Aber das war alles nur möglich, weil ihr da draußen so gekämpft habt für unser Europa. Das gibt Rückenwind für die nächsten 5 Jahre. Und da können wir alle richtig stolz drauf sein.
She criticised far-right parties such as the AfD in Germany and France's National Rally, accusing them of trying to ruin our Europe. She's aiming for a second term in office as head of the Commission. Polls suggest that her centre-right European People's Party will be the biggest group in the EU Parliament after the election. But she'll need support from other groups if she wants to remain as head of the Commission. She only secured her job in 2019 by a majority of 9 votes.
As the Russian invasion continues to devastate border areas, a Ukrainian counterattack killed 28 people, according to Russian authorities. A shop in Kherson with people inside was destroyed, said the head of Russian authorities in the region, Vladimir Saldo. When residents went to help the victims, Saldo said another missile struck, putting the death toll at 22. Russian officials also reported that a Ukrainian strike on an apartment block in Luhansk killed 6. The Russian Defense Ministry accused Ukraine of targeting civilian areas, saying US-made missiles had been deliberately fired at residential districts. The attacks came as the Russian offensive against Ukraine continues, attacking border areas and settlements of Sumy Oblast. No casualties were reported. Russian President Vladimir Putin says Moscow is gaining ground in the east, capturing 47 towns and villages since the start of the year. However, Ukraine say Russia has lost almost 520,000 troops since the start of its full-scale invasion.
The rise of the far right and the radicalization of much of politics across Europe have turned this EU election into the most controversial in its history. In the last election in 2019, only 50.7% of voters turned out. So, what might happen this time?
We can't forget that we're not talking about European elections, but 27 national elections. So the approach to abstentionism will certainly differ across countries that these elections take place and the current issues at stake.
According to the Euronews poll center, young voters could in fact raise the turnout in France and Germany. The polls suggest the young voters of the 2 big shots of the EU are being tempted by the far right. Meanwhile, in Slovakia, in 2019, the country recorded the lowest electoral turnout in the whole of the EU, with only 22.7% bothering to vote. But this time, after the failed attempt to assassinate the anti-EU Prime Minister, Robert Fico, shocked the country, the figure is expected to rise much higher.
Together, the collective age of the bride and groom was nearly 200. But World War II veteran Harold Terrans and his sweetheart Jeanne Swerlin proved that love is eternal as they tied the knot Saturday inland of the D-Day beaches in Normandy, France. Their respective ages, he's 100 and she's a youngster of just 96, made their nuptials an almost double-century celebration. Terrence called it the best day of my life. They've been invited to a state dinner with President Emmanuel Macron and US President Joe Biden.